and making it a more useful tool for our purposes. Usually when I do that, these days anyway, I will do my best to communicate with the overlighting diva of that crystal, as well as the overlighting diva of crystals in general, and ask, and let it know what I'm going to do, and ask it, and you can get a response kinesthetically or intuitively. I mean, it's up to you, however you do it at this point in your development. And either crystal will think that's cool or it won't. In this way you don't wind up with a rebellious crystal and your crystal's ready to run you off. And by asking devic intelligence for its assistance, what you get is just an incredibly, phenomenally more attuned crystal. So, very, very beneficial process to do. And as you create crystal grids will have overlighting divas. And so we're going to spend a little time talking about devic intelligence in this section. Any crystal that's charged by someone first degree will hold its charge for about 24 hours. Any crystal charged by someone second or third degree will hold its charge for about 48 hours. So keep that in mind. And that's true of grids also, so you have to maintain charging your grid at least every other day. And you can do that at a distance. One of the more beneficial things that I like to touch on are how to use crystals with clients. I'm not much of a stone layer, so this class isn't going to cover laying on stones. I think that you can do everything with stone that you can do with energy. One of the attunements that you'll receive tomorrow will be to something called gemstone Reiki. And the observations and the research that we've received on this is that people who laid out stones no longer find it necessary to lay out stones. That they have a mutable gemstone energy within within the field of energies that they work with to take care of all of the reasons that they would have ever done that. That being said, crystals are good for several things. If you send Reiki at a distance or to an affirmation on a card, and at a distance with a picture, you can lay a crystal out over the top of the picture or over the top of the affirmation card and do the distant healing exactly in the way that you normally would, and then send the energy through the crystal and into the object. And what you're doing is you're charging the crystal and linking it with the picture or with your stated goal. And what this means is that when you pull your hands away from that and when you stop your healing, if you do it for 15 minutes like Arthur says, or however long you do it, you're going to be left with a charged crystal that will continually send energy to that goal or to that person for 48 hours afterward. So that's a very, very nice thing to have on hand. And a nice little tip. I mean, if you're going to be sending energy, you might as well get that kind of a benefit from it. Also, a lot of people have something that I call a giveaway crystal bowl. And I sort of started this trend, I think. So that's kind of cool. And that is this. I recommend that you get some crystal chips, some cheap little crystal chips and little tiny crystals and stuff like that they practically give away. And I think it's neat to have some kind of ornate bowl, but you can have Tupperware if you want to. And just put these things in the bowl and hold your hands over them every day, before you begin sessions with clients, and charge them for a few moments. And as a client leaves, have them take a crystal with them. Or if you'd like to, you can have very nice crystals that you have them take with you and then bring back and then you cleanse, and redo. But that's a little bit more work. And this way, they take this crystal with them and that's going to radiate Reiki energy into their field for 48 hours. They're probably not going to change pockets, it's probably going to, but that's okay. I mean, it's just going to be laying in their bedroom or in their personal space, radiating energy there until it fully dissipates and discharges. And it'll be a few days before it completely discharges. So that's a real nice thing that you can do to reach your clients after they leave. People also like to put grid work designs or geocentric type designs or spirals and stuff like that under their massage table or under a pad on their massage table. And for that you can use those camping pads that are kind of like corrugated on the bottom and they create stuff. Well, there's different textures to these, so you'll want to shop around and find which one you want. Find one that you can lay out a pattern that will hold the pattern coherently. And you can lay out different things under each chakra of the person, or one big pattern out underneath them. And you'll notice some very pronounced effects, whatever your favorite thing is. Most people use spirals or a Star of David or something like that. Yeah.
You had used the word attune crystals, and my understanding was that you could actually attune a crystal in the same way you would attune a person, but that attunement would be a permanent thing unless by intention the crystal changed owners. And so I'm a little confused. What I saw you do in terms of semantics, I would call charging it as opposed to attuning it.
No, it's an attunement. If you do it like that with
so what I'm hearing you say is that an attunement then will only last for 48 hours.
Oh, no. Charging it will last for 48 hours.
Okay, that's why I was confused. But the attunement is a semi-permanent, or a permanent thing unless the crystal would change owner and then the new owner would, by intention, remove it.
It's as permanent as you want it to be. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that's interesting about Reiki attunement is that you can intend it to last for 20 minutes, or you can intend it to last for the person's lifetime. You know, it's all up to you, and you can place whatever intention you want on the attunement that you do. They don't have to be permanent. They can be as temporary as you'd like them to be. I mean, Michael and some of the other people that have worked with this one lady out of Los Angeles or something had this experience where she does that. Yeah, the what?
The time bomb.
The time bomb. Yeah.
You get an attunement from anybody else, all it hurts will leave you.
That's very interesting.
And doesn't she also do like a 2-day test or something like that?
Oh yeah, she does
48 hours.
48-hour header removal. She's at a fair or something like that. She'll give you Reiki for 48 hours, so you can see how it feels like, kind of a sample. Booster attunement, that's what
Is that Joyce Morris?
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Did I hear you correctly that she gives an attunement and says if you get the attunement from
Yeah, she
anybody
wants you to have
else?
that in her class, because you can do anybody else. Poof.
It blows hers, or?
Grid around table. You know, grids around table is another thing that you can do. A lot of people will lay a Star of David grid out with crystals about this size, with one at the head, the top point of the star at the head, and the other points laid out around the table, usually in places where the client can't tell that it's an actual grid, mixed in with plants over here, on a table over there, something like that. Grid works like this: under table mats, you know, around tables. Can all be charged at a distance, so you don't have to worry about how you're going to keep them empowered and stuff. Okay. The reason you choose a pentagram is that it's the archetypal symbol of the human. And it's an excellent physical and etheric level balancer. Okay. Oh, let's see, what else would we like to cover? 2 small grids in a healing space can do wonders. One program for the healing space itself, and you can even have this outside of it. It's actually better to have this outside the dining room. But, you know, I brought with me a couple of photographs that I've used on grids in the past. And I don't think that I'm going to pass them around, because I don't really want a lot of other energies on them. But this was a photograph that I took of my house for the purpose of using it on a crystal grid. And what I got was an energetic effect. I mean, if you can see this, there's a lot of energetic effect there now. At the time when I took this, I was still working in the media. So I had access to top photographic experts that were my friends. And so I stopped by and I said, you know, okay, what is this? You know, what happened? And it was, you know, they didn't have a decent explanation for it. So I thought that was very interesting, considering that's their job. And on the back, what I did is I stuck a card. I don't know if I can read it in this paper. But, and what I wrote is my affirmations for that space, and this is where the institute is. It's in this house. This residence and its property is now perfectly protected and healed by divine love and light. This residence and its property is sacred space. Only love, light, and all higher related energies and beings are welcome and allowed to enter and remain in this space, for it is holy and sacred. Any and out of those vibrations are removed immediately and guided into the light. All physical beings who enter here are completely purified, protected, and healed by the sacred energies of this space. Something like that. That's my little affirmation. This was the photograph that I used of myself under my primary grid for a long time. And I was out one night with friends, and this new bar was opening up in Peoria, and they had this huge lighted globe. And so I thought it would be really cool to get a picture of me holding up the world. And so that's the one that I used in my grid for a long time. And on the back, I've written a series of affirmations. And just stuff like, I am perfectly protected and healed now on every level of my being. I allow love, wisdom, and power of my highest spiritual guides to protect, heal, and embrace me, empower me. The wisdom and love of my higher self enters, fills, and empowers my life now with protection, love, and wisdom. Protection, love, wisdom, and healing on every level of my being. I allow complete contact and integration now with all levels of my being, including my high and low selves. I allow complete conscious contact with my intuition now. Just stuff like that. Let me see if there's another really interesting one. No, it's pretty much all like that. And then I wrote the symbols down underneath with their names. So, and my name at the top. So, stuff like that is an ideal witness to use for things like this. Okay, so one grid that you can put the client's photo on, it's designed specifically to prepare them for coming to the class, or to, not the class, but to your healing session. Drop it on about 20 minutes before they're supposed to show up, and it'll really do a pretty amazing amount of things. They'll arrive with their energy field very much cleansed, sort of the equivalent of sweeping and combing and drawing stuff out from deep, and they really arrive ready to do a lot of work and get you down to the important stuff, kind of beating over the 20, 30 minutes of surface stuff that's usually there. And another grid with the healing switch. Let's see. Also, it's nice in a crystal, in an area to have a jar saturated with sea salt water, with sea salt saturated water in it, to draw negative energy out of the space and just generally keep it clean. And you can drop a crystal in there if you want. Okay, let's talk a little bit about crystal grid works here. There's a very exceptional book by Randall Bear that is no longer in print. So this is an excerpted diagram from it. I used this large, this large poster thing, but it got eaten up a couple classes ago and I haven't replaced it yet. So I'm going to use this. I think I have another one.
Which book is it?
Crystal Connection. Oh yeah, I buy copies whenever I see them. Let's talk about these different grid works. This is actually from a friend of mine's handout that he also borrowed from me. The first one on here is the Star of David grid work. This is the most versatile grid work that you can use in terms of cheap ones, in terms of ones that don't cost you a lot of money in crystals and stuff like that. It's good for just about everything. It really is. I mean, you can charge this thing to do just about anything. Corresponds to the archetypal universal spiral type principle in energy and all. And it has the interlocking triangles, earth and universal energies merging as one, all that usual stuff. The double Star of David, if you can afford the extra crystals, is what I'd more recommend in terms of a crystal grid work, because you're raising the power of the Star of David to raising it to the power of 2. You're losing a little bit of its versatility in this, which is interesting. But from a healing, manifestation, integration point, you're really not losing anything. So as long as most of your stuff is going to fall within that, then manifestation covers just about everything you want to do with it. Then you're okay. The center one here, a pentagram, we already discussed this, the archetypal symbol of the